Hi, everybody. DJ Yoakley with you for another edition of the Crestview Coaches Corner with one of the legends of Crestview, past, present, and future, Mr. Paul Cusick. Not only is he the head coach of the football team, also doubles down as the athletic director in a very challenging time to be one, coach, as we continue to hear some of these games, canceled and teams finding teams to play. It's been very challenging, but you've navigated the waters pretty well, so to speak. A little bit of something comes through Crestview, but the football team stays off the radar. You guys are doing well, and things are going well in Rebel Town.
Well, we're trying to do the best we can with the situation, and we constantly have our kids, wear masks whenever you can, whether they do or don't. That's up to them. But sanitize, do all the little stuff. But it's frustrating for anybody that's involved with athletics or involved with school, because it's just kind of chaotic times, and you just got to kind of wade through it.
From your standpoint, as not only a coach but an AD, I'm surprised you don't have the same haircut I do, because pulling your hair out has to be just one of those things. And right now, AD is probably the last on the list of things that people want to be, because of what you have to deal with. Talk to me about some of the challenges that you face, not only personal, but some of the ones that, like, my goodness, you look and see what others are dealing with. It's got to be a tough gig right now.
It is. It's very hard because of all the, just different protocols and different, schedules and how things are going to change, and they're going to change last minute, and you don't have any control of it. And that's what's tough, and some people don't understand that we're trying to get it every single game in. We want our kids to play, but we also have to make sure that everybody's safe. We're not talking about just your kid. We're talking about, 400 or 500 other kids that we have to worry about. And I think sometimes that's hard for people to understand that. And I understand if you're a parent, you're biased towards your kid. That's just the nature of the beast. But, we're taking into consideration every single student athlete and every single kid in the building. That's what makes it difficult. To be honest with you, what we did last year worked. I wish we could just go back, and have those same parameters that from the state that said, here's what we're doing, and this is the way we got to do it. I think that would be a huge benefit, because everyone's just kind of, trying to figure it out now what we're supposed to do, and we're not all on the same page. And everybody needs to be doing the same things, not just at Crestview, but across the board with whoever we're playing.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think that was one of the things that happened that really worked for us last year, that we were able to get a not a full football season, I guess, but one that counted. So, all right, let's talk gridiron stuff, Coach. A tough loss against United. That's a very, very misleading United team. They graduate two of their best players they've had in recent history, and they are still out there slugging. Talk to me about what you saw against the Eagles, what your team did well, and what you needed to work on this week in practice to play Campbell.
Well, first off, hats off to Coach Ogilvy and his staff. They did a great job. Those kids were ready to go. They played hard, and I just felt like they seemed to want a little bit more than our guys, and that's disappointing. So we got to get, the first thing I said to the guys on Monday was, we need to practice with a sense of urgency. We got to get after and have some accountability. You can't make the same mistakes day after day, game after game, and expect to improve. And you have to go out there like this might be your last down that you ever play. And I think that being a young team, maybe we take some of that for granted, or we don't understand what it is to play on Friday night. So getting that sense of urgency and that accountability is still some of the things we're trying to work on.
And you and I have talked about this before in the last 4 years of doing this show, is a team needs to learn how to win, not just how not to lose. Where are you guys at on that spectrum from your standpoint? The leadership seems to be there from the coaches and the seniors, but it seems like the underclassmen have some catching up to do.
Well, I think more than anything, you do have to learn how to win, because you have to be in those positions that put you over the top, and you have to be in that spot that you perform at that level that gets your team over the top. I think more than anything, we just have guys doing a lot of thinking and just worried about making a mistake. And we always tell them, even if you screw up, go 1,000 miles an hour, just go. And that's the thing we got to get our kids to do. Even if you screw up, do it 1,000 miles an hour, and then we can make some plays from there.
You guys have been an unbelievable second half team, and you and I kind of talked off the record about getting them caught up in the first half. Is it just maybe the bus arriving a little bit later so they get things going? I mean, what is it about the second half that has you guys putting up points on the board and blowing out bulbs on the scoreboard?
Well, I'm trying to figure that out. I think more than anything, maybe it's just as a young team, I hate using that excuse all the time. Maybe we're not up to game speed right away. We don't understand that, hey, this is a varsity football game. It's different than playing on Saturday morning. Wake up. And I think that's the kind of the thing that we got to figure out. So as coaches, we're trying to, figure out how can we get a faster start? How can we do whatever to get our guys going early on and make some plays? And I think that's what we got to do. Quit worrying about making mistakes. Quit worrying about, trying to be perfect, and just go play and let it loose. And I think that's where we got to get to.
And I think that goes right into your quarterback, who, he's throwing the ball all over the yard, and he's doing a good job of it. And, sometimes when you're throwing the football, you're going to run into some errors. You're going to run into some mistakes. A couple picks last week, but overall, me and my guy slinging the ball 40 sometimes a game, Coach. When you look at that, you had a heart-to-heart moment with not only your quarterback but your son. Talk about him and how he's continuing to grow through this season, when not everything's going his way.
Well, it was tough. He takes throwing an interception very personally, and sometimes, it takes him a little while to let it go because he feels like the weight of the world on his shoulders, and you can't be like that. You got to let it go. You're the offensive leader. You're the team leader. You can't let your emotions get the best of you. And he's learning to let that go a lot sooner, and then just go out and make the next play. I think all of our guys, sometimes when you're scrambling and trying to make plays, then you're trying to do too much. Just do your job and let your teammate do his job, and it'll work out. So I think that part is something he's still in the process of learning. But he did not get down. He didn't hang his head, and kept playing hard. And even though he threw the 2 picks, which were bad throws, they were the wrong routes. He should have never thrown it. And so it was a combination of errors on that. You got to learn not to throw those just because you think you got to make a big play. Sometimes the most important play is the next play, and that's the way we got to be. But he played hard, had 2 rushing touchdowns, and and I think Rockland in the backfield, those 2 are a great compliment, and those 2 are kind of our heart and soul right now, and we got to feed off those 2.
Yeah, I was just a perfect kind of segue into talking about Rockland. I mean, he's a guy that has done a lot defensively. He's kind of your defensive leader when you look at it, but he also gets it done offensively. He's a nice tandem for Anthony to have. Talk about him and kind of the unsung hero, so to speak, who continues to put up big accolades for Crestview after seasons.
Well, I think the last 2 years he's kind of been under the radar because he's been a freshman, sophomore underclassman, and we had some big names there. And, he's led our team in tackles the last 2 years as a freshman and sophomore, over 100 plus each year. Been an all-league player. And he's an old school type kid. He's going to grind it out. He's going to, he loves the grind, and he's going to just, hit you in the mouth and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. That's just how he plays. And, sometimes that old school mentality, we need some of that. We got to get back to some of that. I think things have shifted to a little bit too far to where that old school mentality is lost a little bit. Whether that's right or wrong, we got to have some of that because it is a toughness. Our theme this year is true grit, and I think that's the one thing Rockland embodies is true grit.
You're going to need true grit against this Camel Memorial team. You have got great history against Camel. When you talk about it, it's a physical battle, seemingly every single year. True grit is what's going to get you through. What do you know about this Camel Memorial team that's going to have the Rebels outscoring Camel tomorrow night?
Well, they're going to make plays. They're very athletic. Do some very good things on offense, and they get the balls to their playmakers, and I think that's what a good coach does, and they're doing a good job over there. So we have to limit their big plays. The bottom line is you got to tackle, get them on the ground, get them off the field, and get our offense back on. And then when we have the ball, we got to get it in the end zone. We can't, just go 3 and out or make a drive and then fail on downs or something like that. We got to cash it in and get the ball in the end zone.
So when you're talking about keys to success, it sounds like just outscoring them. It's as simple as that.
Well, I think in these types of games right now, as a young team, you got to worry about the little things. Do the little things right, because eventually, if you do enough little things, they become big things, and that means scoring touchdowns and getting stops and making turnovers. Those are the things that we need to do and get confident with on both sides of the ball.
We're here with the head football coach, Mr. Paul Cusick, with this week's Coach's Corner. presented by NDC Heating and Cooling. Coach, before we let you go, we always do the off-the-topic question. I now know that you're a golfer. I understand that you're a pretty good one at that. So talk to me, first and foremost, about your favorite place to golf that you have golfed, maybe one place that you would, without a doubt, want to golf. And what's the best club in your bag?
Well, best club in my bag. That's a good question. I like my, it's probably a tie between my 5-iron and 7-iron. I like both those clubs. Those seem to be true for me. You know what, it's hard to say my favorite course. I do love playing Mill Creek. I do love Firestone. So we travel around, try to go weekly with a group of guys. And, you know, I just enjoy that traveling and playing different courses. But, you know, Firestone's a challenge because it's a little bit different playing, you know, a link style course. So I do like that, but really just any challenging course. Just played a course this summer in Ocean City that was gorgeous. And that was fun. But you know, I guess if I had to play a course, I think the obvious answer is like Pebble Beach. You know, just the scenic views. I mean, just would be awesome. Probably shoot a 200, but who cares?
I love it, Coach. Thanks for the time. Good luck against Campbell.